जी नमस्कार एक बार फिर। और आज एक बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक के बारे में बात करेंगे। एक्चुअली सोशल मीडिया पे, ट्विटर पे इस टॉपिक के बारे में काफ़ी डिस्कस किया जा रहा है। पाकिस्तान ने भी सस्ती दरों पर रूस से ऑयल लेना शुरू कर दिया है। और नहीं चलिए, फिर जब इस तरह की न्यूज़ आती है तो इंडिया वाले बड़े चौंकते हैं। तो मैं आपसे ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि उन्होंने पेमेंट टर्म्स क्या रखी हैं, कोई पॉलिटिकल इम्प्लीकेशन इसका क्या है, इंटरनेशनल ऑयल मार्केट पे कोई इम्प्लीकेशन है क्या? क्योंकि अभी तक ऐसा लग रहा था कि पाकिस्तान एक्चुअली यूक्रेन को हथियार सप्लाई करने की खबर थी, और सडनली ये आया। तो लोगों को एक बार को सरप्राइज जरूर हुआ। तो आपसे मैं जानना चाहूंगा दर्शकों के लिए कि आफ्टर ऑल इसके टोटल इम्प्लीकेशन क्या हैं।
Namaskar, Kanda. Let us understand first thing very clearly. This war is not a good for Russia as well as for the NATO, which we have discussed earlier in our very first discussion on this particular issue. When we said earlier, if the war is going beyond 22 winter, means up to March 23, when we were discussing, it will not be good for Russia. The reason is uh, other countries, means especially NATO countries or European countries, will find an alternate, and it will be difficult for Russia. Now, what is happening, particularly in this particular case between Russia, Pakistan, that deal? It is a very clear case. Pakistan is in dire need of a crude oil or petroleum product. At the same time, they do not have sufficient reserve for their payment. Means they are facing the biggest problem of their time for forex reserve with them, and they are running from pillar to pillar, that whether it is China, whether it is UAE, whether it is Saudi or US, and everywhere, and they are finding it very difficult. So for them, anybody whosoever can give them uh, either directly forex, or where they can find like crude oil, which can also save their forex, because they are importing nearly 70% of their crude oil for their requirement, which is roughly $3.5 billion kind of import. They made it in 21, and similar is in 3.5 to $4 billion in 2022. Keeping that in background, now instead of just focusing only on Pakistan and Russia on this crude oil deal, I will again remind our first discussion which we had it, by not allowing Russia to trade in dollar and out of SWIFT system. US made one of the biggest mistake. We discussed this thing in very beginning, that they are giving an alternate arrangement against dollar. Now, dollar is a world currency. Now, by not allowing Russia, which is one of the biggest exporter of the crude oil worldwide, they are asking Russia to look for an alternate. So India is also importing around 1.5 to 2 million barrel average, we can say, per day. China is biggest importer of crude oil. Now, all those things are going beyond dollar, whether it is China, whether it is India, or any other countries, whosoever is buying from Russia, they are importing it not in dollar, but the currency, either ruble or yuan or rupees or some other arrangement which Russia is accepting. And many other countries are looking for an alternate to dollar for their trades. So this should be seen from that aspect. Now, this particular deal, which you have mentioned, is roughly approximately a million barrel kind of a cargo is going from Russia to Pakistan, which is one of its kind. They will first uh, refine it and see how best they can get out of it, and then future deal will be depending upon it. So it's a very small quantity if we look from the Russian point of view, but at the same time, it is an indication to US that now there are people who are looking for trade in energy other than US dollar. I'll just give 2-3 minutes more on that, why it is important. Because worldwide, the biggest producers are US, USSR, and Saudi. They are the three biggest producers. USSA is the biggest producer, but they consume maximum. So net export available to the world is very, very limited. Then comes to Saudi and Russia. Now, Russia is also consuming more than what Saudi is consuming their own. So, in term of barrel, Saudi is the biggest exporter and followed by Russia. But now Russia is producing more than 10 million barrels a day, which is something similar to Saudi. And OPEC together, including Saudi's 30 million barrels, so 10 million barrel if we count it from Russia. So around 20% of the world trade is happening now other than dollar, which was a very disturbed sign from the US point of view.
Okay.
So what I will see it as a sign to USA and to NATO that they should revisit their strategy and see how best they can retain the dominance of the dollar. Though it is a small point, but Pakistan or many other countries will start paying in yuan, and all these deals are happening at the behest of China. So
Okay.
China is creating a alternate to the dollar as well as in the international politics. We have seen their influence when they have influenced Iran as well as Saudi Arabia to start dialogue, which were not happening from last decade or so. So this is also not a good sign in the world politics that it shows an influence of China is increasing. So from my point of view, it is advantage China, loss to Russia, loss to NATO, and as well as the biggest threat to US dollar for international as an international currency.
गिरीश जी, मेरा एक सवाल है यहाँ पे। पहली बात तो मैं पाकिस्तान की जो रिफाइनिंग कैपेबिलिटी है इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा जानना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि जो ट्विटर पे मैंने पढ़ा है तो उसमें लोग कह रहे हैं कि जो इंडिया कर रहा है, इंडिया क्या कर रहा है आपको पता ही है कि इंपोर्ट कर रहा है क्रूड ऑयल रशिया से और एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा है रिफाइनिंग के बाद, और पाकिस्तान भी वही करेगा। हैज पाकिस्तान गॉट दैट कैपेबिलिटी?
No, not as now, because Pakistan, 30% of its consumption is producing from their own, and their refineries are basically suitable for Saudi, UAE, and Oman crude. So they
Okay.
are not having that high quality of complex refinery. But
Okay.
as I said, they may not get the best output from Russian oil, but they can consume it. But to make it competitive with China and India in an international market, I doubt they are having that technology to get best out of Russian crude or other heavy crude or sulfur crude. So I don't think they are having that much capacity, as well as even if they are having, so their quantity will be hardly anything which can, make any impact in the world market.
ओके, अब मेरा जो अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे रहेगा वो ये रहेगा चाइना के बारे में। ऑफ कोर्स एडवांटेज चाइना है, ये आपने बता ही दिया। अब जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ये है कि जैसे जैसे वार आगे खींचता जा रहा है, आप कहते हैं कि एडवांटेज चाइना, और चाइना का एक तो अभी देखो पाकिस्तान का आप देख लो, और दूसरा चाइना ने एक बहुत बड़ा स्टेप लिया है जो आपने बताया, दैट इज बिटवीन डील बिटवीन ईरान एंड सऊदी अरबिया, और अल्टीमेटली आके कहीं ना कहीं वो ऑयल ट्रेड को इन्फ्लुएंस डेफिनेटली करेगी। उसके अलावा जो सेंट्रल एशियन नेशंस हैं उनके भी प्रेसिडेंट को उन्होंने बीजिंग में बुला के या संघाई में बुला के मुलाकात कराई है, जहां पे एक्चुअली वो बैकयार्ड था रशिया का। तो रशिया के बैकयार्ड में भी एक्चुअली चाइना अपना इन्फ्लुएंस फैला रहा है। तो ये जो सारे फैक्टर हैं, इससे आपको क्या लगता है कि ओवरऑल, अगर पॉलिटिकल क्वेश्चन है ये, तो चाइना का जो इन्फ्लुएंस है, इज इट इंक्रीजिंग एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ रशिया?
Very much what you said is absolutely correct. See, in the war, what is the basic strength of the Russia was crude oil export and armaments and other export which they are doing. Now, because of the war, only export of crude oil energy is happening and the other exports are not happening. So they are very much deprived of their economical strength which they were having. So as such, and they're spending much more than what normal was because of the war. So Russia is the biggest loser if we look from the NATO, Russia, China, India, and US. So Russia is a loser. I'm not talking of Ukraine because Ukraine is a different thing. It is not in that same league. So with respect to that, the biggest loser is Russia. Now, if somebody is losing, someone else has to gain, or step in and take their place. So biggest advantage here it is to the China. Now we have seen politically as well as financially as well as from other aspect, China is making much more impact in Middle East, in Africa, and other countries. And the dependency of the many African countries or Asian countries, which was there on Russia, is now slowly shifting to China. Okay, India is not in that league, or we can say, okay, we are defending very much against China and other things. But you rightly said it is advantage China, and they are politically and financially taking advantage of it. And Russia is having no other option but to depend more and more on China, which is not good sign for a free world as well as for the US. They should see that how best and how amicably they should resolve this problem so that influence of the China can be contained. Otherwise, it will be beyond repair.
ओके गिरीश जी, अभी इंडिया पे आ जाते हैं वापस। इंडिया रशिया ट्रेड, हमारे पास मेरे ख्याल से 40 बिलियन डॉलर्स वर्थ का तो टोटल हमारे पास हमें पे करना है, जो कि प्रॉब्ली रशिया कह रहा है कि युआन में पे करो, और हम कह रहे हैं कि युआन में पेमेंट नहीं हो सकता। हाउ डू यू लुक दैट पॉइंट? ये कब तक चलेगा? और रशिया क्या हमारे यहाँ से कुछ भी इंपोर्ट नहीं कर सकता?
See, Russia is requirement as of now because of the situation war they are having. They also need support, whatever the defense material they need it more to continue their war. If it remain at their same level, which is at presently is going at a very high level. So India is not in a position diplomatically as well as otherwise to support Russia on that. China and Iran and others are supporting them, but India can't take that chance to antagonize the entire world by supporting military armament and other thing to Russia. So options are limited where we can provide them IT support, or we can provide them in metal or in some sort of food and other thing. But food, they are having their own dependency. So items are limited as of now. If had it been a normal situation, then yes, there could be a more export to Russia, but at present it is limited. So now for India, we are requiring, as such, we are having much more import from Russia. It is not normal. So the balance of payment in ruble and rupees is just because of the India has increased multifold its import of the Russian crude oil. Had it been normal is 1/10 of that, then this problem was not there, which was the earlier situation. But since we have increased our product import approximately 1.5 million barrel per day, which was not even 150 or 200,000 barrel per day earlier, average I am talking. So that's why this balance of payment is coming. But India is not in that position like other countries where having a shortage of forex and other things. So if necessary, if there are method, Russia can have crude dollar or other currency, India can make payment. But as of now, it is a problem with Russia. They can't have dollar by other means because they are deprived of that SWIFT and other payment which they cannot accept in dollar. So
ओके, तो मेरा जो अगला सवाल रहेगा वो इस बात पे रहेगा कि रसिया इंसिस्ट कर रहा है कि हमें आप युआन में पेमेंट कर दीजिए। तो ऑब्वियसली जैसा हमने कहा कि इंडिया हैज नॉट एग्रीड टू, बट ओवरऑल जो पिक्चर लग रही है, रसिया एक तरीके से एक तो चाइना का सैटेलाइट स्टेट हो गया, अगर अभी नहीं हुआ तो थोड़े दिनों बाद हो जाएगा पूरी तरीके से। और दूसरा, एक तरीके से डी डॉलराइजेशन में रसिया चाइना की हेल्प कर रहा है।
yes, as I said, this particular cases, as we said in the beginning itself, US should not provide an alternate to dollar, which they themselves has provided by removing Russia and Iran and many other countries. So they should revisit their strategy. By doing so, they are encouraging other countries to start trade in other than dollar, this currency. So this is the first thing which we have already discussed. And India will not make payment in yuan because by making payment in yuan, we are making China strong economically also, because India is having one of the major trade means commodity and otherwise, I was telling, in the top 5, which we are the third largest importer of the energy in as of now. So keeping that in mind, even if energy and other things start going into yuan or other currency, which is not good for India to strengthen China. So I don't think India will agree for payment in terms of yuan. Yes, dollar, ruble, rupees. These are the acceptable things, but not yuan.
तो बिल्कुल साफ है गिरीश जी, जैसा आपने बताया, तो ये तो एक्चुअली ऑयल ट्रेड इन्फ्लुएंसिंग ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक ऑर्डर एंड देन इन्फ्लुएंसिंग ग्लोबल पावर ऑर्डर, ये तो पूरी सीक्वेंस चली आ रही है और ये बिल्कुल एस्टेब्लिश्ड होने वाली है सूनर और लेटर। अब जो दूसरा जो सिचुएशन है, पाकिस्तान की तरफ मैं आता हूँ। पाकिस्तान अपने आप को कहाँ पाता है? यूक्रेन को उन्होंने आर्टिलरी सेल्स एक्सपोर्ट किए और वो सब किया, और अभी जब प्रॉब्ली रशिया एक्चुअली, जो मेरा अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, शुरू में एग्री नहीं कर रहा था उनको ऑयल ट्रेड के लिए, लेकिन फिर एग्री किया। आपको नहीं लगता पाकिस्तान चाइना और यूएसए के बीच में फंसा हुआ है?
Yes. But as we said, Russia is depending more and more on China. And it clearly shows, in spite of not so friendly gesture by Pakistan towards Russia, Russia has agreed dependency of Russia on China is increasing. China, this war, Ukraine-Russia war, is taking toll on Russia, and so Russia is the biggest loser among these four, three. We say U.S., NATO, China, and other. So Russia is at the receiving end, even though financially they are trying to survive, but it is in the interest as early as this war should be finished so that they can come back. Otherwise, the influence of the China will be much beyond than what today they are on Russia.
अच्छा, एक क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछूंगा। यूएसए, इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, कैन यूएसए treat India's import from Russia and Pakistan import from Russia, ऑयल की बात कर रहे हैं, at the same level, और पाकिस्तान will face some problem?
See, as far as I know the UN resolution and other US things, they have allowed export from Russia, keeping a ceiling of $60 per barrel. Okay. So any
Okay.
country who can import less than $60 is reasonable as far as the UN resolution is concerned, or NATO resolution, or you can say Europe and other things. Whereas, as I said, import from Russia is very small quantity. It is not big as of now, and I am not sure how long they can continue and how much quantity they can continue, because real Pakistan refineries are basically suited for a Middle East crude. So they may not get the best out of the Russian. They can treat it, but not the getting best out of it. So it will be a small quantity they can have it as long as they are buying below $60. Keeping the influence of China and Russia, small quantity as such is going from one country to other. So it will not be a major problem as far as US is concerned, because it is not impacting economically any benefit to Russia. So I don't think US will have any
Okay.
say
Girish ji,
say.
last question. I understood your point. Last question from my side. $60 per barrel, ये रेट उन्होंने उसका सीलिंग उसी की लगाई है ना, रशियन ऑयल इंपोर्ट की। क्या आप समझते हैं कि ओवरऑल जितना ये ट्रेड हो रहा है, इसमें इस सीलिंग का जो प्राइस सीलिंग रशियन ऑयल के ऊपर लगाई है यूएसए या वेस्टर्न ब्लॉक ने, उसकी वजह से जो इंटरनेशनल ऑयल प्राइस है वो स्टेबलाइज करने में एडवांटेज मिल रहा है? आज भी देखता हूं मैं तो ऑयल प्राइस मेरे ख्याल से आज $73 पर बैरल है। ओवर टू यू।
See, agar to me, this price would have been above $85. Today, what we are paying around 72 to Brent and around $69 WTI because of this influence from the Russia. Otherwise, in a normal circumstances or because of the war, the price easily would have been above 85 or $90. So there is an advantage to India and other countries because this price is keeping low. But there are other extra costs which like India is incurring because of the additional premium on insurance and limited shipping available chances, because most of the shipping lines are from Europe and US and other thing. But even Russia is now providing support, and other countries, India is able to get it. But it is creating a problem. So that's why Russia is exporting at a lower price. And since India has increased its product import, say 1.5 million to between 2 million barrel. So you can say, and similarly China. So 2 to 3 million barrel extra has been accommodated by Russia, and which has created some imbalance to OPEC. And this is indirectly, I will say, not intentional, but benefit to the international market.
So any other point from your side?
This is okay, as I said, but I am only worried about the increasing influence of China. So India has to see that China should not make such an irrevocable influence on Russia that start dictating to whom export and how much and what price and other thing. Then it will be a difficulty. But as of now, no. But we can't say that, considering the situation, India has nothing to worry. No, we have to see that in our Russian dependency should not be too much, and we should provide political as well as international support to Russia in a forum, so that Russia is not totally going one-sided and create problem for other people from the extra over influence of China and its yuan. So it is in the interest of the US and other countries to see that China should not be taking over and entire control of the Russian energy.
तो गिरीश जी, थैंक यू सो मच, इट हैज बीन ए प्लेजर इंटरेक्टिंग विद यू। आपने गिरीश जी को सुना, कितना इंटरेस्टिंग डिस्कशन था ये। और सबसे जो क्रक्स पॉइंट निकला, पाकिस्तान इररिलेवेंट है, जो वो इंपोर्ट कर रहा है वो भी बहुत ज्यादा क्वांटिटी नहीं है, एंड यूएसए इज लीस्ट वरीड अबाउट दैट। पॉइंट ये है कि रशिया के ऊपर चाइना का इन्फ्लुएंस कितना बढ़ेगा, और ये एक फर्स्ट स्टेप है कि सेकंड स्टेप है, दैट हैज टू बी सीन। अब एक जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, आपने नोट किया, यूएसए का जो बेसिक इंटरेस्ट है वो ये है कि रशिया कमजोर से कमजोर होता जाए, जिससे वो यूक्रेन में वॉर को हार जाए, जो भी उसका एफर्ट है वो नलीफाई हो जाए। और दूसरी तरफ यूएसए का ये भी इंटरेस्ट है कि रशिया इतना कमजोर ना हो कि वो चाइना के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट हो जाए, जो कि अभी होने जा रहा है। अगर ये लड़ाई चलती है तो उस हालत में रशिया धीरे धीरे करके, अब तो 1 साल हो गया और ये उससे ज्यादा ही हो गया, अब लड़ाई में रशिया कमजोर पड़ता जा रहा है। आफ्टर ऑल सारी लड़ाई तो अब इकोनॉमिक रिसोर्सेज की है। अब इंडिया को क्या करना है, दैट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिकल मूव इतने सिंपल नहीं होते जितने वो ऊपर से देखने में लग सकते हैं। इंडिया रशिया का आपको पता ही है कि ट्रेड चल रहा है, और जो ट्रेड इम्बैलेंस है वो एज ऑन टूडे रशिया के फेवर में। उसके पास रुपीज का अच्छा खासा कॉर्पस जमा हो रखा है। रशिया, चाइना, ईरान, एक ये मिलिट्री अलायंस आप देख सकते हैं, सबके सामने है। इवन इफ इट इज नॉट ऑन पेपर, ऑन ग्राउंड दिस अलायंस इज वर्किंग। नाउ व्हाई दे वर कीन कि इंडिया भी उनके साथ जुड़े, और रशिया ने प्रपोजल दिया कि जो भी रुपये का हमारे पास एक कॉर्पस जमा हो गया है, व्हाट वी कैन डू इज वी कैन गिव इट टू ईरान, और ईरान को जो इंडिया से इंपोर्ट करना है वो उस रुपये के थ्रू कर सकता है। इंडिया डिड नॉट एग्री टू दिस प्रपोजल। रीजन बिल्कुल साफ है, बिकॉज ईरान जो है वो एक तो फाइनेंशियल एक्शन टास्क फोर्स की शायद ग्रे लिस्ट में है, वो सैंक्शनड कंट्री है। तो आप क्या सोचते हैं इस मूव का क्या मतलब था? इसका बेसिक पर्पज ये था कि किसी न किसी तरीके से इंडिया को अपने साथ लेके आया जाए, अमेरिका भी नाराज हो, और जो इंडिया यूएसए का जो अलायंस धीरे धीरे आप देख रहे हो शेप अप कर रहा है, अभी मोदी जी वहां जाने वाले हैं, तो इसको इमर्ज होने से रोका जाए। इंडिया एक ऐसा कंट्री है इस टाइम पे जो दोनों ब्लॉक्स के बीच में बैठा है, जिस तरफ भी झुकेगा बैलेंस उसी तरफ झुक जाएगा, और आंसर इंडियन पॉलिसी मेकर्स को ही देना है। इट्स रियली a very very difficult choice. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग, आई विल सी यू इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो। और मेरी आपसे गुजारिश रहेगी कि प्लीज लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब। थैंक यू।